Steelers GM Omar Khan once again crushed the NFL draft for the third straight year. And today I'm going to be breaking down my complete 2025 Steelers draft grades for all 3 days of the 2025 NFL draft. Now that all 7 rounds of the draft are complete. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Now let's get into the selections here. Before we go into each one individually, Derrick Harmon goes in round 1 to the Pittsburgh Steelers out of Oregon. They get Kaleb Johnson all the way in round 3. Might be your number 1 running back this year. Then Jack Sawyer, maybe the only kind of head scratcher kind of today, but national champion, is going to be really, really good depth at the edge rusher position. Then Yahya Black out of Iowa, the nose tackle. Yahya Black, that's what it was. Nose tackle out of Iowa, over 330 pounds. Mike Tomlin called him an F350, and he is definitely a big boy. Then you get Will Howard in round 6, a quarterback out of Ohio State, another national champion, Pennsylvania kid. Love to have him in the building too. And then you got Carson Bruner, linebacker out of Washington in round 7. Then same thing with Dante Kent, a slot corner a player here that they're taking here in round 7. So let's go into each pick individually here and kind of go over this draft class. First one, Derrick Harmon out of Oregon. He does have a little bit of a shoulder issue in terms of the injury risk. There was an MRI at the combine that showed a partially torn labrum in his shoulder. Some teams took him off their board entirely, which is why he ended up making it to the Steelers at number 21. But it is something that he can play through, and it's probably something that eventually he's going to have to get surgery on. But man, on the field, Derrick Harmon is so disruptive. And this is honestly a steal at number 21 for the Pittsburgh Steelers based on the tape that Harmon put out last year. 55 pressures, 11 TFLs, and 5 sacks. All of those are more, by the way, than Mason Graham, the defensive tackle the Browns took at number 5 overall. And I think when we look at a guy like Harmon, he's going to be somebody that can rotate in alongside Keanu Benton and Cam Hayward as well in terms of penetrating a player that can get TFLs, can get in the backfield, but can also get in the backfield to create sacks and pressures. He does have a little bit higher of a missed tackle rate than what you want to see, but overall a fantastic player with great quickness, can win with hand fighting moves and finesse, and with power and collapse the pocket. So this is an A- for me, and the only reason why it's not an A is because of the injury concern with the shoulder. But other than that, this is a fantastic player. The Steelers obviously made it a priority to get this guy. He was their guy from the beginning, and he ended up falling to them at 21, so good for them. Then in round 3, the even better pick, in my opinion, is Kaleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. And I've said from the very beginning from this draft process, guys, if the Steelers can find a way to get Kaleb Johnson on their football team without using a first-round pick on him, I am absolutely on board with that. He had 40% of the line of the scrimmage yards for the Iowa offense last year. Think about that, 40%. He's a big play machine because he's got great size, great vision, and great burst to get into the second and third level. And once he gets back there, good luck trying to tackle him if you are a cornerback or a safety. I absolutely love what Kaleb Johnson brings to the table. I said, they probably needed to go to an outside zone heavy system, which is probably why he ended up falling. This is what Dane Brugler had to say about Kaleb Johnson. Johnson isn't a dynamic, make-you-miss athlete, but he is a patient and powerful one-cut runner with the instinctive vision to crease the defense using run angles and foot quickness. His play style is reminiscent of DeMarco Murray with a 3-down skill set to thrive in a zone-based NFL scheme, and that's exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be providing him here. Arthur Smith wants to run the more outside zone than any other offense in football, and he's going to be an immediate contributor alongside Jaylen Warren. So getting a player this good of a fit here in round 3, this one is absolutely easy for me. It's my favorite pick in the entire class. Kaleb Johnson gets an A+ in round 3 from me. So shout out your guy down there in the comments section. Who is your favorite pick from the draft haul from the Pittsburgh Steelers this year? Was it Kaleb Johnson? Was it Derrick Harmon? Was it somebody else? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. In just a second here, we're going to talk about our sponsor today at House of Atlas. And while I'm talking about our new sponsor here on Steelers Talk, this will be the pinned comment. So go down there in the comments section, find that pinned comment, and answer today's pinned question. Who is your favorite pick from this draft haul? And with that, let's introduce our new sponsor here on Steelers Talk, which is House of Atlas. And it's this new shaving company called House of Atlas, guys, and they gifted us one of their razors, and honestly, I'm kind of blown away with how good this razor is. Not only does it look insanely sleek sitting in my bathroom, but it gives me an incredibly close shave, and it feels weird to gush over a lineup of shaving products, but truly House of Atlas makes some one of a kind stuff. Not to mention their products are all designed to look like they should have their own tech reveal. The blade head has 5 U.S. made stainless steel blades that glide right through my facial hair, and it has a high-performance serum strip that's infused with ingredients like aloe, vitamin E, and shea butter, which reduces inflammation and helps prevent ingrown hairs. And the premium razor kits come with a magnetic storage hook that you can attach to your bathroom mirror or medicine cabinet for easy storage. So what you get when you get House of Atlas, guys, this is the packaging with their razor, and it's absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it's got that aloe on there, so it prevents ingrowns and all that stuff. You also get the shaving cream here, which is absolutely fantastic. It smells great, by the way. And then you get the aftershave, which kind of goes on like a roll-on your face, which is absolutely fantastic. I don't really like the cream aftershave. I like the kind of the roll-on because you don't get your hands all dirty. It's absolutely fantastic stuff here from House of Atlas. And now, for a limited time only, they're offering 15% off your first order when you purchase any razor kit and the before and after set, which includes the precision shave cream and calming aftershave that I just showed you guys. Use code CHAT at houseofatlas.com. That's HOUSEOFATLAS. .com with promo code CHAT for 15% off your new razor kit and before and after set. Stop wasting money and time on shaving products that don't look good, aren't effective, and cost way too much. Visit houseofatlas.com today. Trust me, you'll love it as much as I did. Let me get to our picks here on day 3 that we covered today on today's coverage here on Steelers Talk. Jack Sawyer, edge rusher out of Ohio State. This is somebody that obviously fills out the coffers with their edge rusher room. They brought in Preston Smith last year as more edge depth. And, this is a position, TJ Watt has had injuries in the past. Alex Highsmith has had injuries in the past. Nick Herbig has had injuries as well. And Jack Sawyer is somebody coming from a national championship pedigree there at Ohio State. And he's going to be able to come in and be that fourth edge rusher right away. He's going to be a really good locker room guy. He's going to work his butt off. Multi-year starter for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I think that he's a really good run defender. And that's something that he's going to bring to the table where if somebody goes down, one of the starters for the Steelers go down, and you want to put him out there on early downs to defend the run, that's something that he's going to be able to do. He's not much of a speed rusher. He doesn't have an elite bend, or he's not like a great, necessarily elite level athlete or anything like that. I do think he's an NFL functional athlete. I don't see him being like a number 1 edge rusher in this league or anything, but the Steelers are looking for functional starter type of players at this position to fill out their depth, and that's exactly what they got in Jack Sawyer. I did think there was probably other options that would have been better than Sawyer, other positions that I would have rather targeted than edge rusher with my round 4 selection. But overall, it's not the worst pick in the world, but I will give this one a C-. Then you get to a Yahya. Goodness gracious, what a name here. I've been saying Yahya on the channel for way too long, but Yahya Black, nose tackle out of Iowa. Big man, over 330 pounds, over 6'5". Mike Tomlin called this guy an F-350, which is a giant truck, by the way. I think this is a very important piece that the Pittsburgh Steelers really wanted to add and really needed to add to their defense. Keanu Benson has been kind of playing as this team's nose tackle as of late, but he's more of a penetrator, in my opinion. He's not like a true truck that just sits in the middle of the defense and is just a space eater like this guy is, man. I think that Yahya is going to be able to sit in this defense and run heavy downs, 4-minute drill type of stuff, situations where you got to get a stop against the run. Yahya is going to have an instant impact in those types of situations. And in terms of pass rushing, he doesn't bring a whole lot to the table in that regard, but you have Keanu Benson, you have Cam Hayward, now you have Derrick Harmon. Those 3 guys are definitely going to be able to get after quarterbacks. And Yahya Black is going to be able to be your run-stuffing nose tackle in those kind of goal line, short yardage, and 4-minute drill situations where you really want to stop the run. And I expect he's going to have an increased workload against heavy run teams like the Baltimore Ravens when we play the dreaded Ratbirds this year. So for a round 5 pick, somebody that's going to be this big of an impact to the defense and really plays this big of a role in the Steelers defense, I'm going to give it an A-. Really love the pick here. And I think it's decent value. Then in round 6, they did not take Shadur Sanders today, but they did take a quarterback, Will Howard, national championship quarterback out of Ohio State, another Buckeye, going to the Steelers here at 185. And it seems like the Steelers really like this kid from the very start of the draft process. I know that they looked at a lot of different quarterbacks, and they like the depth in this quarterback class this year. I think that Howard has a lot of really good tools at his disposal. He's got really good size. He can throw with touch. He's got when he's accurate with his deep ball, it's a beautiful deep ball. He does need to improve his accuracy, and he needs to be more consistent, in my opinion. But he brings a lot of tools to the table. He's also a plus rusher that brings some power to the table. Last year at Ohio State, he was kind of asked to manage the game, and he did that at a high level, over 73% completion percentage. He had a bunch of total touchdowns, 42. And then he only had 1 fumble and then 10 interceptions. So, he's somebody that if he's kept clean, he can operate an offense, all right? Now, I do think that when he's under pressure, he can make some mistakes. He can be inaccurate. He had a terrible combine performance where his accuracy and his kind of tendency to spray passes and be inconsistent with his ball placement was put on full display in Indianapolis. In fact, people were booing him at the combine. He was doing so poorly. But I will give this a B grade because he does have good physical traits that you can bet on here as a 6th-round dart throw. I think that he's going to bring the right approach to the locker room every single day. And I think that, unlike Shadur Sanders, who would have brought, a lot of extra hoopla, a lot of extra drama as a backup quarterback, Will Howard brings none of that. And I think he brings a high character profile to the Pittsburgh Steelers as a potential backup option in the future. So predict it for me down there in the comment section. Does Will Howard ever start a game for the Pittsburgh Steelers in his career? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comment section. My answer to this question is hopefully, maybe not, but hopefully yes, but also maybe hopefully not, because the Steelers are not drafting him to be a starter. They're drafting him more to be a backup, and maybe it's round 6 dart throw. Hopefully Howard can develop some of his weaknesses that he had in his game at Ohio State. I'm not trying to say that you don't want him to develop, but I do think that this was a pick for a backup, and I do think their move for a future franchise quarterback will come in a later NFL draft. Then if we finish up with round 7 here, Carson Bruner, linebacker out of Washington. I think he's going to bring special teams ability right away, and he's a downfield kind of downhill run defender kind of player. And I do think he's going to be, if he's going to make the team this year, he's going to have to be a special teams player for sure. And, you look at the linebacker room that the Steelers have right now. You got Patrick Queen. Peyton Wilson's going to be a full-time starter here for the first time in his career this season. Then you got Cole Holcomb returning. Hopefully he gets back to his form that he was back in 2023 before his injury. And then you got Malik Harrison, who this team paid quite a bit to bring in here as another special teams player. So for me, this is a C+. It's a round 7 pick, so it doesn't really matter who you spend your 7th-round picks on. But there was some much better players, in my opinion, that were still left on the board for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the fact that Bruner's dad works for the Pittsburgh Steelers as a scout, it kind of feels like a Nepo hire, Nepo draft pick. I don't want to say I don't want to, put that on this kid. I'm sure he's going to come in and he's going to work his butt off, all that stuff. But for somebody that doesn't really provide a whole lot of upside in terms of 3-down starter ability, and honestly, I'm not sure if he's ever going to get on the field in the rotation. He's just going to be a special teams player. I don't know if I would have used my 7th-round pick on Bruner, but I'll give this one a C+. Then the final pick here of the draft for the Steelers, Dante Kent, cornerback out of Central Michigan. I like this kid, man. I like what Dante's bringing to the table here. He's undersized, but he's going to probably be playing in the slot for the Pittsburgh Steelers if he ends up making the team. And I think he's going to have a chance to potentially win the job. 187 pounds, 5'10", 5'10" a quarter. And, he didn't have any interceptions last year. He did have 2 in his college career, but he has a ton of pass breakups, so he does have the ball production. He's a good blitzer from the slot. He played mostly from the slot at Central Michigan last year. And I think that, with Beanie Bishop Jr. being in here as another kind of undersized cornerback in the slot. And by the way, we just got word that the Pittsburgh Steelers are bringing in Sebastian Castro, who can also play the nickel from the University of Iowa. I really like Sebastian Castro, by the way. So you got Dante Kent, you got Sebastian Castro, you got Beanie Bishop Jr., and you got Brandon Echols. All those guys are going to be trying to compete for the starting slot cornerback job. here in Pittsburgh. And I think Kent has a legitimate chance of winning that position because of the physicality he brings, because of the blitzing ability he brings, because of the speed he brings. He ran the 4.3s this year. He's undersized, but he seems like the type of guy that Mike Tomlin is really going to like, and I think is going to make an impact here as we get into the offseason program. So it's Red Ped time. Let me know down there in the comments section. Grade the 2025 draft class for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. I'm going to give my final grade here in just one moment, but give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Grade Omar Khan's performance in this year's draft. For me, I'm going to give it an A-, guys. And the reason for that is because I think that, the first 3 picks in the first 3 rounds are really the most important. If you can utilize your picks in those first 3 rounds effectively, then I think you're going to have a really successful draft class, period. And what did you do with those 3 picks? You got Derrick, Harmon with your first-round pick. You traded for your number 1 wide receiver and DK Metcalf with your second pick. That's an A+ grade as far as I'm concerned. And then you got Kaleb Johnson as another A+ guy in round 3 and another complete steal. Now, day 3, maybe not quite as flashy or as amazing as the first 2 days were, but Jack Sawyer's a good player and a high football character type of dude. Yahya Black is going to be an instant contributor as a nose tackle for this team. Will Howard is a good dart throw in round 6. I think that's really good value for him. Carson Bruner's going to give you special teams upside. And then you got Dante Kent, who might be your starting slot corner this year. And then already in the UDFAs, they've already bringing in Rock Taylor from Kansas State or from Memphis. They're already bringing in a tight end from South Alabama, and they're already bringing in Sebastian Castro, another guy that's going to compete for the starting nickel position here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So tomorrow, we're going to have our full UDFA video where we're breaking down every single UDFA signing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't wait to break that down because the Steelers are already bringing in some really nice prospects here as we get ready for rookie minicamp here in just a few weeks. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate all of your guys' support. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.